On behalf of Common Purpose and RMIT University, we would like to pay our respects to the traditional owners and custodians of the lands we all stand on across the world. We give thanks to the lands and waters and acknowledge the gifts they bring us each day. Personal leadership brand. 3 words that can evoke quite strong responses in people. You may have people who say personal leadership brand, God, that sounds like that awful interview question of describe yourself in 3 words. Or they may say, so what, is this about Instagram influencers and brand? Or they may say, well, you can't brand a person, you brand a cleaning product or a car, but you can't brand me. All of which I understand, and I've heard a lot of other things as well. But I would also argue the other side to this is that personal leadership brand, or knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what others can expect from you, is absolutely critical as you go out into your careers. If you want someone to know why they should hire you over someone else, if you want someone to know why they should follow you, if you want people to understand why they should work with you, for you, to create great success, they've got to know who you are and what you stand for. And that's a two-way street. You have to understand it yourself, and they have to receive you that way. And if there is that connection and that commonality and that synergy between what you stand for and what you believe in and how you want to work with others, and other people experience that themselves, then from that shared understanding and that common starting point, you can create really powerful working relationships and make things happen, get things done. You will progress in your career as people know what they can turn to you for and what they can expect from you. It's absolutely critical. So, critics aside, I think this is absolutely crucial as you embark on your career, no matter whether you're just starting out, whether you've had a previous career. It's crucial for you to understand what is it about you that makes you unique. What are you bringing to the table? Why should people come to you? Why should people turn to you? Why should people follow you? So, this activity is to give you a chance to think about that and to really test it. It's all well and good saying, well, I think I'm this and I'm that, and this is what I bring to the table. But as I say, there has to be a similarity between how people receive you. So we're going to put that to the test now. So what you're going to do to start with is you're going to write down 3 words, that dreaded interview question, in terms of what you think you stand for, what your brand is as a leader, and what people can expect from you. You're going to explain why, and then you're going to do the critical bit. You're going to email a group of people and ask them what they think of your personal brand. You're not going to tell them your 3 words. You're going to ask them openly, receive their thoughts and feedback, and then start to see what that tells you. Where there's similarity, where there's crossover, where there's dissonance and difference, and start to unpick it. But when you do this, the most important thing is not to lie to yourself. We all have elements of ourselves that we would like to change. We'd all have things that we would like to be, but on our put our hands on our hearts, know that we're not. And it's really important that you don't kid yourself. I've in the past said one of my 3 is respect. I expect to be treated with respect by other people because I treat other people with respect, and I feel a lot better about myself. I pat myself on the back and think, well, good on me. But in reality, it's not true. If I'm honest with myself, do I always give respect actively and consciously, and also unconsciously with people? Do I never disrespect people, either actively and consciously, or even just by omission or not doing certain things? No, of course I don't. It is ludicrous for me to pretend that that is who I am if I'm honest about who I am. So I can't put things like that down. I have to choose other words. 2 of the words that I do know are actually quite true are driven and direct. So direct, not direct in the I'm just going to say it as it is, but direct in terms of I prefer to address issues head on. I prefer to be quite direct about having those conversations. I prefer to have conversations about what's actually happening rather than those slightly murky conversations where people are talking around subjects and not quite going there. So I prefer to be upfront with these things, and I expect other people to be upfront with me. I don't want people to hide behind things. People I work with, if they're having problems, just tell me. It's all good. Just be direct and upfront. Driven, I push myself very hard. I'm very ambitious. I hold myself to a very, very high standard of what I think what I should be proud of, and what I need to achieve, and I'll push myself very hard to do that, and I'm really driven in that way, and that drive is a really powerful force, and a really, really useful force in terms of pushing me on in what I do. But the reality is these aren't always just positives. You have to look at the flip side of that. That actually being direct sometimes means I can miss nuance. It means I can maybe put things forward too strongly. It might mean I miss the opportunity to have a conversation in a different way that would be better for the person I'm talking to. And being driven, the biggest danger I have with that is that I can project my drive onto other people. And it ain't their drive, it's mine. So I shouldn't expect from them what I would expect from myself. So you have to be careful with these things as well. They're not sort of universal goods. But the important part is testing them. And I've tested those on people that I work with, and they agree with them. And they say, no, that is you. There is alignment there. And so at least we understand each other. They know what they can expect of me. I know what I can expect of myself, and what I'm going to ask of them. So that's the testing part. So now, what I'd ask you to do is to sit and think about your three, write down the headline words or description, and then explain why you think that's the case, what it is you bring. Then think of 10 people that you can contact. These will be friends on your course, these will be friends from home, these will be family, people you work with on a part-time job. But try and think of a diverse range of people who know you from very different walks of life and in different ways, and ask them the question. I'm trying to work out what my personal leadership brand is. Please, could I ask you to give 3 words that you think describe me, in terms of who I am, what I stand for, what you can expect from me, what I believe in, and then give me a little description about why you think that best describes me. Send it out to those 10 people, get the results, and then look at what you find. Where is there similarity between how you see yourself and how others perceive you? Great. If you're living it, if that's how they're receiving you as well, that's fantastic, and it shows that you're really living those elements of your brand. There'll be other areas where maybe lots of people are saying a certain thing that you hadn't thought of. But then when you reflect on it, you think, well, actually, yeah, maybe that is important to me. Yeah, no, that's great. I just haven't thought of it that way. Great. There's synergy and similarity, and you've learned something, and there's another word and something else you can bring to the table. If you look at it and say, well, I'm not actually sure that is me, or actually, I don't want that to be me, then you need to unpick, well, how are people perceiving me that way? How are they receiving me that way? Why is it that I'm projecting that to them? And if you want to change it, change it. Or you think about how you want to use or adapt it. And then there may be some areas where it's just totally different, but it just gives you a different perspective, and you may want to have a follow-up conversation with them about, I didn't understand that, or I haven't seen that, please help me understand it. And through doing that, you will develop a much deeper self-awareness of yourself. You will reflect on yourself and your own perception of yourself, but you'll also develop, most crucially, a really much deeper self-awareness of how others perceive you and what you stand for and why they follow you and why they like you and why they'd want to work with you. And then it gives you a really tight, powerful, thought through, reflective sense of who you are and what you stand for. So in an interview, when you get that question, describe yourself in 3 words, you don't just give a nice answer of how you would like to be thought of. You actually give a real answer. You explain how you came to that realization and what you did to develop that self-awareness, and it'll be hugely powerful. But also, when you go into your work after graduation and you're working in teams and people ask you to introduce yourself, and as you start working with your new manager or your new team, you can really start to share at a much deeper level who you are and what you stand for, and start to build the relationships at a much deeper and more powerful level to help you progress in your career. So there we go, personal leadership brand. Please give it a go, and I wish you the very best luck.